Hey everyone, I've got some exciting news. So, I've always loved helping people. That's the whole reason why I started my podcast. Duh. So, now I'm taking it a step further. I'm excited to announce that I'm rebranding Beverly Explains It All. Though the name will stay the same, now we'll be focusing more on helping people. Hello, it's time to live your best life. Allow me to help you find your purpose and live in the present. So, without further ado, check out my new trailer and the first episode. Hey guys, have you ever felt like you're wandering aimlessly through life, like some character in a video game? Trust me, I know the feeling. Listen, it's time to hit pause and tune into Beverly Explains It All. Join me as we have candid conversations with guests and friends and talk about everything under the sun. Let's figure out what really makes you tick. If you're curious about life and learning how to enjoy the present, let's go down this road of self-discovery so together we can purposely find your purpose. Allow me to ask the questions you're thinking, introduce you to new ideas, and help you live your best life. Come with me on this journey as Beverly explains it all. Woohoo! All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to Beverly Explains It All. Welcome. This is my new rebrand. Yes, I am live. You can see my face. And speaking of faces, I have the beautiful Barbara joining me today. Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Beverly.
We're going to try not to use our podcast voices because it's very hard when you got a mic in front of your face. It's difficult, right?
Hey, Beverly.
There we go. Hey, Barbara. So I'm really excited that you were willing to come on and be my guinea pig, my first guest for my rebrand, where I'm trying to help people, purposely find their purpose and also stay in the present, because I definitely find myself all over the place at times, but I'm working more as I get older to really appreciate the moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Thank you. All right. I know we talked a little bit before and you hate talking about yourself, but I'm going to ask you just to let our listeners know a little bit about yourself so they know I didn't just pick some rando person off the street.
Okay. So Beverly and I, again, we are very good friends, been knowing Beverly for a very long time. I'm Barbara. By day, I am a general dentist. I've been a dentist for over 25 years. And by night, I am a content creator. I have a YouTube channel, I have a blog, and I actually have a podcast. But I am a faceless content creator. I've been doing it for about 7 years. So we'll leave it at that.
I was like, do you want to plug any of your things? And she's like, well, are you going to be recording this or is there going to be video? I'm like, video. And she's like, no, I'm not plugging anything. But I was thinking about how people have to listen out for your voice. If you can find her, people literally thought you were Beyonce because of your voice.
I got a couple of that. I was kind of flattered, but I'm like, if I was Beyonce, I probably wouldn't be on here doing YouTube videos.
You never know. This is like her side hustle. I can see your plaque with your 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, there it is. When did you get that? That is amazing.
I think I've had it for about, I want to say now it's been about 2 years. And right now my channel is approaching 250,000 subscribers.
That is dope. Hashtag goals right there. That's what I'm talking about. And I am so honored that you're my friend and my mentor. So thank you.
Very welcome.
All right, let's roll into our actual podcast. I just want to shake these nerves off for the both of us since this is a new platform. I'd love to start with a little quick icebreaker game. Are you down?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions and just say whatever comes to your mind first. Don't overthink it. Ready?
Oh, okay. I'll try not to overthink it. You know me, right?
Don't overthink it. It's easy. It's fun. Shake it off. All right, here we go. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Morning person or a night owl?
Morning.
Coffee or tea?
I have to say both.
Okay. Do you believe in karma?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Spicy food, yes or no?
Yes.
Are you a neat freak or a messy person?
Neat freak.
Do you like to cook or eat out?
Cook.
What are you making for dinner?
You know what? I haven't thought about that. It's about 9 o'clock, so I haven't thought about that today.
See, I wanted to throw that in, so I was like, maybe I can steal her dinner idea. Okay, do you dress up for Halloween?
No.
Oh, are you a good dancer?
I think I'm the best dancer I know.
I've seen you shake it. You're a great dancer. Yes, you beat me for sure. All right, our last question. Do you believe in love at first sight?
I'm gonna say no, but there's a reason.
Interesting. Well, that is kind of where I wanted to dive into today, because everybody has a different take on that. My topic today is passion versus purpose, and I think it's a topic that often gets confused. So I just kind of want to go in and define those meanings, and let's dig in. Let's talk about this. I'm curious, what does passion mean to you?
Um, Passion means, I guess, it's something that drives you. It's something that excites you, and it's something that makes you, I would say, like a better person. It's something that keeps you happy. It's something to look
Yeah.
forward to, and everything about passion is good, I would say.
I feel the same way. I wanted to look up the definition and see what excuse me, what Webster had to say. And the definition is a strong and barely controllable emotion. So, I mean, when I said, do you believe in love at first sight? What do you think about that in regards to passion?
Okay, so to me, love is much stronger than passion.
Mm,
Love is different. That's why when you say, do I believe in at first sight? I'm like, I think there's an attraction, a deep attraction at first sight. But I think
yeah.
love is something that has to be established once you know the person. So are you attracted to someone at first sight? Absolutely. Do you think you're going to probably spend the rest of your life with that person? Probably absolutely. But if that person ends up being a psycho, then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you can love them, but I mean, you can be passionate, you can be attracted to them, but that might not be the person you might end up falling in love with. I think falling in love is a process.
I agree with you. I see both sides of the coin because I like to think of myself as somewhat of a hopeless romantic, but I will say before Andre, I definitely had those Boo Boo the Fools. Like, what was I thinking? None of them were love at first sight, but I do know people who are like, oh my God, as soon as I saw him, our eyes met and I felt that spark. And I won't even
Right.
say that with me and Andre, if that sounds bad. I'm like, I'm kind of like with my man, it's like I had that process like you. I gradually fell in love with him. But it's interesting. And you always like to watch those movies, those fairy tales where people just have that spark and it's like, ooh, love at first sight. But
Hmm.
if, in regards to passion, like I feel like it's weird to be like, oh, I'm just passionate about my man. I feel like, when you love somebody, you love them and your passions were kind of
Right.
separate.
You can kind of equate it to food. Microwave food is good, but when you slow cook something, it's probably the best tasting that you'll ever have.
That is like the best analogy I've ever heard right there. That is, you got it. You hit the
You're
nail on the
welcome.
head right there. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm gonna keep that one in my head. All right. So what about purpose? Because people sometimes mix the two up. What do you feel like what defines purpose?
When I think about my purpose, I think about it in a spiritual sense, in the sense that people are put on this in this world for a purpose. People are put in your life for a purpose, and there are things that we do to enhance other people's lives versus the same thing that enhancing ours. Um, I think it's very spiritual. I think it's something
Yeah.
that we everybody. I think everyone has a purpose. Everybody might not have a passion, but I think everyone has a purpose. So that's
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest difference between passion and purpose to me.
Let's dive into that. Like I totally agree with you. Definitely on the spiritual side, and I feel like purpose, like we are all here for a reason. I feel that in my heart. Just so we all can know, Webster defines purpose as the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists.
Right.
How that's why I kind of went down this road with this podcast, because I am in my middle of my life, my early middle of life, and you start to like think about things a little deeper. It's like, well, what am I doing with my life? Like, how am I helping mankind? Am I staying true to myself? What is my purpose? What do you think your purpose is? Let's start there.
Ooh, that's a very loaded question.
Right? Right?
Because I'm not as early as you are in your in your midlife.
Yeah. But
But when
yeah.
you're just looking back over my life, I mean, I think I'm the type of person that like to see people happy. I'm the type of
Yes.
person that like to make people happy. Not necessarily a people pleaser.
I was going to ask.
No, I'm not a people pleaser, but happy in a more general sense, as opposed to say, "Oh, I want you to be my friend. Imma make you happy." No. I
Yeah.
will do things for people to make sure they're okay in that
Yes.
sense. Not necessarily more, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. We talked about that, because I'm like, I'm
yeah,
learning from you with that people pleasing, because I'm like, Lord, it
yeah,
always bites you in the butt.
I'm actually the opposite of people pleaser.
Which is so crazy, because everybody knows Barbara is like the nice one. She's so nice,
Yeah.
but deep down she's like, oh no, you're not gonna get me.
You know what I'm saying? People confuse kindness with being, what's the word? They
Eek.
say me being meek. Well, I think I still think I'm a little meek, but still just being weak. They
Weak, weak,
confuse
weak.
kindness with being weak. So,
Yes.
but it's definitely not that the case here.
Like, don't make me show you now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like wondering, okay, this is totally not off topic, because I'm like, I have a few, talking points here, but I'm just wondering, when we say everybody has a purpose, because I believe the same thing, I just wonder, like, right away, for some reason, my mind just started thinking about someone on the street, like someone who's homeless, someone who's doing drugs. Do you feel like they still have a purpose, or do you feel like their purpose might have gotten lost? Or what would you say to somebody who's just like, I don't feel like I have a purpose, like I'm at rock bottom, or they just don't have direction in life?
I think we have to not get um, the value of a human life confused with what someone do, where they live, how they live, what they may be going through. Again, I think every human being, every living creature to me has a purpose.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes we can get confused with, status, thinking that that makes someone a better person or
Mm,
their purpose even better. Because you can even think of it as, okay, there are people out there who help the homeless who probably were selfish people before they did it. So,
mm,
so you can't put the value of a person's life or a person's purpose based off of what they do or their life situation at that time. So yes, of course, homeless people have a purpose as well
yeah.
as the plants behind you have a purpose.
Okay.
Okay.
They're helping me out with some scenery. I mean, how
You're cleaning the air a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, right. Thank you, plants. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, I mean, purpose to me like has that deeper meaning, that deeper root, but passion, like, what would you say your passion is? Because you say you feel like your purpose, your true purpose is to really try to make people happy. I mean, I think that's what God wants in all of us. But
Mhm.
how would you define your passion then?
Well, okay, in this case, like my passion and purpose may be kind of intertwined. I'm not an excitable person. And I think the older I get, when you use words like passion, not that I'm not passionate, they're always newness. I think passion as a newness. If you was to ask
Mm,
me this question when I was 20, I could rattle off like 100 things, but now I'm 55 and
love it.
again, it's a number. It's a
Yeah,
number.
looking good. Looking good.
And, I've done a lot of those things. So it's like, it's not that I'm not passionate about it. I'm grateful. It still makes me happy. But
Yeah.
as you live longer, it takes more to get that excitement up. But it's not a bad thing because you're still happy. Y-
Yeah, I mean, do you think there's anything in your life right now that you are passionate about? Like anything that like lights you up or sparks
Oh, a
you?
lot of things. A lot of things. Ice cream being one.
Woo!
because I don't eat it that
Passionate
often.
about ice cream.
I love what I do. Again, I love what I do. I won't say it's a passion because
Now,
if
which job are we talking about? What you do?
oh,
Because you
the
know,
main job, the main job.
being a dentist.
Being a
Because
dentist, yes.
I'm like being a full time content creator and a dentist. I mean, that's two separate worlds, really.
Well, I never really thought about being a content creator as a job. So I guess
Oh,
technically it's not a passion, but it's something that I did that was very interesting to me. And then of course, as a content creator, you end up you make money from it. So
it
um
is kind of like a
as
job.
someone who appreciates money, I'm going to continue to do it and make
Okay.
more money doing it. Yeah.
All right. I mean, so but you don't find it to be your passion. That's interesting. So what keeps you like going doing it? Is the money? I mean, what keeps you fulfilled in
Well,
it?
again, I think it's the word passion. It's interesting. You know, being a content creator, I learned a lot that I didn't know before, and I'm sure you're finding that out now.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it becomes, I guess the word you use as passion, I use as interest in wanting to learn more. But that's always been my personality. The more I don't know about something, the more I want to learn about it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not
That-
up, screaming, "Ooh, I love it!" I can't
so
live
there's
without it.
nothing you're not like, "Oh my god, I love to travel," or like, "Oh," I mean, I feel like with content creating, it's different because to me it is like a job. Like I love podcasting. I love doing this. Even when I'm
Mhm,
just like, "Okay, that sounds so stupid. I gotta, erase this or I gotta restart." I enjoy the process because I'm an
mhm.
entertainment person. That's just me. So I do feel like this is my passion because if it wasn't, I probably would have quit already. And the
Right.
fact that like I keep going, I feel like that's my passion. I feel like passion is something that you really enjoy. I don't know about the uncontrollable, you know, everything, but it's like it's not just newness to me. It's like I really enjoy it, so I want
Mhm.
to keep doing it,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and that's true. I enjoy it, but I guess like again, I said as I was younger, there were things that I would probably say, oh, I really enjoy it to the point where I just have to do it. But as you get older and you put things in perspective, it's like yes, you do it, you enjoy it, and you just put it in its category in its place. And I think that's more so a Barbara thing,
I love it.
which is why it's like me as your first guest with this topic.
No, it's purpose.
Like, yeah,
Look at me. It's purpose. It is purpose. It's purposeful. This is supposed to
okay,
be happening.
yeah.
With your everyday life, since you say you're not a really, really passionate person, do you
Hmm.
feel like you live your day to day with just more intention of purpose? Does that make
Um,
sense?
Purpose and I mean, I enjoy my life. I do. I enjoy my life. I think it's just we might be doing a play on words. For
Mhm.
me, it's like to call it passion. Like I wake up happy and I try to go to bed happy. I try to make sure every day that I live, I'm enjoying myself. So I mean,
Yes.
there are a lot, and to me, passion is the way. And I think I'm viewing passion as like an extreme emotion. And so
Yeah,
I'm not an extreme emotion kind of person. I'm more of a balanced, personality.
that's
And
true.
so yeah, and so it's like, I'm not saying that I'm not happy and things don't make me, excited, but it's just that I put it in perspective.
I mean, that's very sensible. It makes sense. I was going to ask you, so with people who are just struggling to find their purpose and their passion, like, do you have any advice for them? Or what do you do to kind of just, I don't know, hone it in?
I think, like I remember having a conversation with a young person about what they wanted to do for a living.
Mm,
And they're like, well, if I'm not passionate about it, then I can't do that. And, my explanation to them was that, you can like what you do for a living. You can actually love what you do for a living. But when we think about what we do for a living, the purpose of that is to make sure that we're able to take care of ourselves.
yeah.
So there are a lot of people out there that's like, oh, I want to juggle balls all day because I'm passionate about it. But I'm like, will that pay your bill?
Right. I mean, it's like you have to be realistic. Not every
Right.
job is going to be your passion.
Right. I'm sure the people who pick up animals off the street are not passionate about that, but it has to be done.
I mean, some of them, that's like better than the people with like pick up their poop. And I'm like, I don't know if I can find my passion in it, but I mean,
Yeah.
there could
But that
be,
doesn't mean they're not happy people, and it doesn't mean they don't like what they do. It might not be
yes.
a glamour job, but
Right.
then but happy people can enjoy what they do for a living. So I think it's more
See,
so
yes.
not necessarily the extreme of being passionate about something, but being a happy person and being able to put things in perspective and, you know, just move on from there.
It's like your job does not have to be your dream job. But I
Yeah,
think
right.
also, like you're saying, you have to make money. That's just the way the world is. So even though your job might not be your passion, it can afford you to kind of pursue your passion.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I told this young lady. It's like your job may not be your passion. I think you should like what you do every day, all day for 30 years or however long you work.
Okay.
30 years. But at the same time, you take that and you spend time with your passion. So what's
Sure.
your passion? What's your passion?
My passion, God, I feel like I'm just like a multi-passionate person. I'm with you when you said when you were younger, like you had like a million different things. And it's interesting
Mhm,
how your perspective changes as you get older because I still do feel like I am multi-passionate and I fall in love with a lot of stuff. Like I'm an actor, entertainer. I don't know if it's because I'm a tourist or what, but like I just when I like something, I like it deeply, you know?
mhm.
So I'll say my passion right now, because it could change, it is really, podcasting and like entertainment. I've really felt like, and this is now purpose, but I always told even my mom, like, I was like, I feel like I'm on this earth to entertain people. And I felt that at such a young age. And it's funny because when I told my mom that, she was like, I thought you were going to be a stripper because you're always running around naked. And I'm like, well, I guess it was still some form of entertainment, you know? Let's expand a little more on purpose. Like, you feel like your purpose here on earth is to make people happy.
Well, I think my purpose, looking back over my life, I think my purpose, I wanna make sure that people are happy. I like to teach people, as you can
Yes. Yeah,
and
I've learned so much from you, honestly. I appreciate it, man, because I'd be struggling.
and I'm kind of like I try to be a peacemaker in some aspects. So I think all that kind of falls under the happiness, but it's not necessarily again like people pleasing, never, but more so to
Yeah,
make sure that the environment is pleasant.
I understand that. Can you tell me about a time where you had to make the peace where people were maybe too passionate and you had to get involved?
You know, oh, one time, well, I won't share the podcast with this person.
Oh,
I
I
won't
was like,
share this interview
we
with
can
this
call her
person.
Madam X.
Well, him. No,
Madam X.
I remember one time, because like I would host like holidays, right? I think one
Yes.
time I was hosting a holiday and it was like a sporting event on football or something like that. And there was one person literally acting out.
Oh boy.
And I could tell that it was making everybody uncomfortable.
Oh my.
And
Act
they
out
weren't
how? Really like yelling
well, just
crazy?
yeah, just like, like overly excited with the game. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know what he's going through today, but that ain't happening here.
Just cursing and acting crazy?
No, not
Oh, okay.
no, just every time it was a play, like running around, acting silly, and it just was like that wasn't the environment we were in, and there were different people, whatever. So
Know your place, to know your
know your
audience.
place. So I just, I let it happen once, and I let it happen twice, and then it's like, okay, I'm like, you know what? You're not the only one watching the game. You're gonna have to settle down, and that was pretty much the
Okay.
message. And everybody kind of looked at me like I was like the bad
That
guy,
guy.
but everybody was happy because he ended up settling down. So
See, that's so interesting in those situations. And like me, I'm always nervous. Like I don't know how to kind of not react in those situations, but I don't always know how to like settle someone down. Like Andre, he's like you. He's straight up. He's like, all right, now. Like literally the other day, he was shushing people in theater. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, calm down. He's like, no, they're talking, and I'm like, we kind of have to live with it.
that would be me too. Yeah.
See, I love that. How do you get? Tell us how you get that like I don't know not passion, but how do you get that spirit? Is it just your innate?
Well, I have to read the room now. I don't know if I would do that with strangers, but if I'm in a place and it's like, it's like order. I think it has everything a lot to do with how I grew up. I grew up in a tribe. I'm the youngest of 10. And yes,
Woo!
12 people lived in one household.
That's a
So,
whole lot
you know,
of people.
yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like when you grow up being this, my dad was a Korean War vet, my mom was a housewife, all the kinds of things. So like when you think about that, it's like order had to be something of the day. You know what I mean? It was kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, so that doesn't just go away when you get older.
Wow. So that was kind of passed on to you.
Yes, I think
See, I
so. I think so.
Yeah. And it's like I've never really seen that side of you. Barbara, like I said, is always nice, but I know she is not a pushover, first off. But it's like I feel like all of that, just the way you were raised, that kind of makes your purpose as well.
It does. It does. Again,
You
because
know?
again, and that's another, like making people happy, keeping the order. I guess that's because that's what I saw my mom do. She had to make
Hmm.
sure all of her 10 kids were happy.
I mean, I don't even know how she did it. That's
I don't
that's
know.
incredible.
I don't know either.
And switching gears a bit, just going back to passion and purpose and love. I know you've been married for how long now?
26 years.
26 years. And her husband is a lovely man named Robert. I think I can
Robert?
say it right.
Yes.
Okay, Robert. I was like, okay, we'll cut him out if we can, but yeah, Robert. So, how do you feel like between like passion and purpose when it comes to, Robert? Because I mean, you're your own person, he's his own person, but obviously you guys have passions. I don't know if they're separate or different. And do you feel like his purpose aligns with yours?
I feel like he and I are so much alike in so many ways and so different in so many ways. And I'm still, after 26 years, figuring that out, which is a good thing because that helps keep the love and interest and, in your words, passion.
There you
You
go.
know,
It keeps that newness and that
the
passion.
newness,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
Mhm.
as we both get older, we're both changing in good ways, and some ways that are a little challenging, but that's that's just life.
So you feel like you guys both have that same like underlying purpose?
Yeah, I think he and I are fundamentally the same person, actually. We just express it in different ways. Yeah, so
Do you think that's like an important aspect for relationships for people to have purposes that align, or do you think people could be completely different in that aspect?
I can't speak for other people. I think
Mm.
it depends on what people are looking for in their relationship. I think that definitely works for us.
Mhm.
Um, I think you definitely need to have some things that are fundamentally, well, most things that are fundamentally the same, I would say, because you want your values to be the same. At the very least, your values, because that can
Yes.
determine a lot of that can actually, you can have a lot of problems if your values are not the same.
Yeah, and I feel like values tie into purpose, because
Mhm.
it's like if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, like they say, right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, my purpose, I'm still defining my purpose in life. Like I really do feel like I'm here to entertain, and hopefully, that comes out in my everyday. But my
Mhm.
values, like deep down, it's like I'm not going to stand for injustice and things like that. So I do feel like that kind of makes your character just your purpose and who you are in general.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yeah. Can you tell me, all right, I'm not gonna bug you too much longer, but can you tell me
Oh, no.
like a funny story or something you can think of where you and Robert were on the same page, um, like together and maybe had to like work as a team because with you guys have a line purpose, like a
Well,
story or something that
just
happened.
just to tell everybody a little bit about Robert, I'm a dentist. He and I, we met in dental school. So he and I are both dentists and we work together. So we're not just married people who've been married for 26 years. We actually live together, work together, and actually he does my content creating with me. He's the editor and everything else. And so,
All
so when
encompassing.
all encompassing, it's like we can't get enough of each other.
They're around each other all the time.
So there's your answer. We do
I mean,
everything together.
yeah. I literally was like telling you the other day, I was like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could work with Andre because, I love the man, but there's sometimes I'm like, look now, how do you do it? How do you do it?
Um, it's I can't say it's hard because before we were even a couple, we were classmates. So you're
Yeah.
around somebody all the time, and you know how to turn um things on and off. I guess again, like I said, putting things in perspective. It's like you can do something that makes me mad at work or when we're at school or whatever, and it's like I can hold that in the back of my head and deal with it later.
Interesting. So you kind of compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize, yes.
So you're
But I
like,
mean,
okay,
that's a rare
I'm mad at
thing.
work, but when we get home, I'm good.
Oh,
Is
no,
it kind
I'll
of like
bring it up.
that?
I'll bring it up if it's
Oh,
something.
Sorry, Robert. Nope, you're not off the hook. I'm still mad.
Yeah, I won't be mad. I mean, like I said, we're again after so many years, you learn how to deal with certain things and you handle it. It's not like a daily thing, but it's like, oh, you can bring stuff up that's like, oh, you know what? When we were doing this, it's like, don't do that.
You're able to kind of like be on the same page because your purposes are aligned. I feel
Hmm.
like you guys are able to kind of squash issues quicker than I don't know a lot of couples. You know,
Yeah,
I
well,
don't think
again,
I've ever seen you guys haven't really ever fought in front of me. I don't know if it's because of years of being together or because your purposes are just so in
I mean,
sync.
of course, we do have spats. You know, every relationship when you put two human
You
beings
guys are
that are
human.
totally different, yeah, and two human beings that are total opposites of each other in a sense. Like I said, you know, we had to align ourselves, but when you say you love someone, you have to treat them with respect. So,
That's the bottom
um,
line.
and then when it gets to the point where you feel like you don't want to treat them with respect, then that's when you're like, you know what, I need some time because it ain't gonna come out pretty right now.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
I
that's
say what I
real.
want to say. So yeah, so it's just about just again keeping things in perspective, and you don't want that to be a memory that they have that, oh, she said that to me, or he said that to me, or he did that to me.
Right. I mean, that kind of ties back into me like about purpose. Like that's just not the person you are.
Right.
You know, I like that a lot. Wow. You know, I love quotes. Do you have like
Mhm.
a quote or I don't know, a mantra you live by that you can kind of impart on everyone?
Okay. Um, hmm. That's a very good one, Beverly. You caught me off guard.
Woohoo! I totally threw Barbara off guard with this
I know.
question, and I did not mean to. I'm so sorry. You know,
No, no
and it can
worries.
be a thinker.
It's just so many. I'll just give a
Yeah.
simple one that I say all the time. To thine own self be true. Shakespeare.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
yep. It hits right on the passion and purpose points too.
Yes, it does.
You know, you gotta know you, boo.
That's the modern version of Shakespeare. No, you boo.
Know you, boo. I love it. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, Barbara, so much for being my first guest. This was so
Thank
much
you for
fun.
having me.
I would love to have you back sometime. We're going to dig in deeper to your relationship with Robert because that's a whole thing in itself. It's so much fun.
You know that's not gonna happen, right?
Oh my God. I would love it to have you both on. Jeez.
He's gonna keep me busy. He's like, oh no, you can't do that podcast.
Oh God. Tell him I said hey. Thank
Yes.
you once again. Everybody, thank you for listening. This is Beverly Explains It All.
Thank you.
Bye.